Hey, what's up, everybody? Good Thursday morning. It's about 11:20. And I was just watching the ADTV's news segment this week in wrestling. It's a special 1 hour edition, I guess they're doing, but they have to do it in multiple parts because I guess they don't have the expansion privilege yet. If they do, they're not using it. But I guess they don't have it. But anyway. They have this special guest. It's the ICOCJ has a special guest with them. And this guy, from what they have said, is a legend in the Southern Cal Lucha Libre scene, which is pretty cool. And they were talking about this week in wrestling. They were talking about the Rock Cena deal. And this guy, I can't think of his name right now, started talking about they started talking about it, and then the guy was talking about one of the writers at WWE, and how word has gotten around that this guy is taking credit, or at least from what people have said, wrote the promos for both Rock and Cena. Okay, first of all, the Rock Cena ones, I don't think were written. I think they were unscripted. I think maybe Cena wrote his, got it passed Vince McMahon, got a pass from Vince McMahon, said go ahead and do it, and there you go. So, obviously, I'm just checking, making sure I don't get blacked out there. My camera likes to fade out for some reason, I don't know why. But anyway, they were talking about this writer, and basically the writing staff there, and to me, I was thinking, thank you, God, somebody's actually saying something about this whole situation. Because like any fan, I'm getting sick. I'm kind of, I'm a fan of WWE. Let's not say I'm not, because I am. I've been a fan of WWE when it was WWF. I was a fan back when it was the Rock and Wrestling. I was a fan back in the 90s and everything. I've been a fan for a long time. Alright? I've been a fan for a long time. About 27 years I've been a fan. Just as long as WrestleMania. Maybe shorter. Maybe 25 to 27 years I've been a fan. But that's about it. But here's the thing. As long as I've been a fan of of WWF, one thing I will say, until recently, they've never been repetitive. I think what's going on is they're running out of ideas, honestly, and I think everybody notices that. The thing is, it's one thing to say, hey, this is what I think they need to say. Quite honestly, I think what you need to do is start being more original. Yeah, you might want to keep some of the same ideas. Like with WrestleMania, everybody's expecting Cena to probably win. We're not saying he will. They might throw us the curveball. But the thing is, if you want to keep that, that's fine. But don't make it so damn repetitive afterwards where he's got to do a rematch and everything. Throw a curveball. Have Miz challenge the night after, or have Miz challenge the week before. Have them lose. Do things like that. Or what you could do is, you want to throw the curveball, is here's what you do at WrestleMania. You have Cena win, then you have him get Rock bottom. Or if Rock's not involved at WrestleMania, whether he has a match earlier in the night or not, you have Alex Riley get involved. You have Alex Riley purposely hit The Miz, and just when you think Riley will turn face, you have him hit Cena after Cena wins. And then you make a three-way, you make the rematch a three-way triple threat. So that's how you don't become repetitive. You do something out of the blue. I mean, they showed that they could do it with Nexus. That's what they showed. They showed they could do it with Nexus. So they can do it. So obviously they have the strength. They have the strength to do it. They have the strength to do it. They have the ability to do it. They just got to do it. They just got to prove it. They just got to show it. And I think that's what they can do. You know, here's the thing. The writers at WWE need to let loose. Let's be honest. WWE, if you compare them with TNA, they have a better writing staff capable of taking it to that next level. But here's the problem with it. Here's the problem. Right now, they're in an era where their face, the franchise player, which I'm a fan of, I will admit that, is appealing to the kids because of the way he is. I mean, if you just let Cena walk out with his white t-shirt again, his cap, or his Rock Rules, or, you know, or you get the idea, that Rock Fools, or whatever it is, t-shirt he used to have, let him do that. And I guarantee people, not just kids, will still like him, but overall fans will like him. I mean, when he did his promo, his rap, when he did his one-time return to his Thuganomic deal, this past Monday night, the entire arena was cheering for him. The entire arena was cheering for him. That's what you go with. You don't go with, okay, have him do the you can't see him, you know, have him be a kid-friendly kind of guy. No. No, you don't just go with that. You combine that. You turn this, what people are considering the PG character, into a PG-13 character. So he can appeal to kids, but he can't appeal to adults. That's how you work it. And how do you make sure people know, hey, it's not PG anymore, it's PG-13? How do you know people will do that? How do you know people will say, oh, this product's fucking better? Excuse my language, but they're like, ooh, this product's fucking better. Because how would they know that? How would they know it's fucking better if they don't see the rating up there saying TV PG, and instead of saying TV PG V, which is for violence, you put TV PG LV. There's a lot of programs that do that. A lot of programs that do TV PGLE, TV PGLV, language violence. That is the TV rating way of saying this show's PG-13. If you add the L to the TV PGV, then they will know. Then they will know it's got an edgier feel to it. That sounds crazy, but that's what it would be. It would be like they would know it would have that edgier feel. And that would attract people just by adding that one little letter to that rating system. They would know just by adding that one little letter. That one little letter. That letter L to the V, next to the V, under the TV, PG, people would know. It's crazy, but they would know. I mean, it's the same thing with TNA. If they wanted to go PG, okay. Go PG, that's fine. TV PG, they would go LV, people would know. Yeah, the PG basically means they tone down on like the sexual stuff and the sexual overtones, and maybe are not as violent as they used to be. But at least they would know, hey, there's an edge to it. There's language. Watch out for it. That's what I would do. I mean, like I mentioned in my previous video, when I talked about it, when I responded to Jeff Meacham's video where he talked about, where he answered a fan's question as if Rock killed the WWE PG, or PG WWE. He didn't kill it. He made them stand up and realize, hey, the word ass, as much as I hate to say this, is becoming commonplace, so it's not that big of a deal. It's on almost equal terms as damn. Okay? I mean, if you want to look at it from another perspective, let's take a look at one of the most popular movie series right now. Let's take a look at them. Harry Potter. Up until a few years ago, a majority of the Harry Potter movies were PG. Up until a few years ago. Then I don't know what movie it was. I can't think of the title. I can't think of what Harry Potter movie it was. But up until about a few years ago, they were all PG, and then all of a sudden, because the movie was a little darker than the average than the other Harry Potter movies, it got the PG-13 rating. Just like this year's got the PG-13 rating, and just like last year's got it, and just like I'm sure the continuation of it in July is going to get it. Don't you see? PG-13 is the next step to R. So if you just say PG-LV, that's basically saying TV PG-LV is your way of saying this is PG-13. It's not that big of a deal. Just add the L, people will know, you'll get more people watching. Alright? To me, that's what WWE needs to fucking do. You know, like I said, you know, if someone wants to say, I'm the shit, or I'm the motherfucker kind of deal, yeah, or you're a son of a bitch, if they want to say that, yeah, bleep those out. Bleep out the B, bleep out the F, bleep out the S words, fine. But bleeping out ass? Like I said, as much as I hate to say it, it's not that big of a deal. It's commonplace today, almost. So, I think all you have to do is just say, put the L on there, and people will know that you got an edge to it. It's a PG-13 rated show. That's how they will know. You don't just come out and say, oh, we're just TV PG and the only swear word we allow is damn. Let's take a look at some of your storylines. Some of your storylines you've had over the past couple of years in this TV PG era have been close to TV PG-13, if not close to TV 14. So come on, let's be honest. You have that edge. Work with it. You know what I'm saying? Work with that edge that you have. Work with it. Put the L. That's all you have to do. Just put the L. You'll be fine. Then you can have just then you can probably have a little bit more freedom. You won't be afraid of crossing the PG line, PG error line. No. You'll just have the L saying, hey, we might have more than just the word damn in here. We might have ass. And that's it. That's what you need to do. That's what WWE needs to freak fucking do. I mean, this legend, this guy that CJ and K-Ross had on the show, have on the show, said that overall, whether you're WWE, whether you're TNA, whether you're Ring of Honor, whether you're Independence, whether you're Viva La Lucha, whatever, overall wrestling is PG-13. Everybody fucking knows that. Everybody fucking knows that. They know it. So why not deal with it? I mean, if you just add the L, you're not gonna lose your audience. I mean, take a look at these fucking cartoons nowadays. Take a look at over at the Hub. Take a look at Transformers Prime. The last time I looked at it, and when I look it up on demand, it's got the PG rating on it. The PG rating. Transformers has a PG rating. PG rating on a Transformers cartoon. I'm sure, let's say Kabillion was to say, okay, let's take Sonic the Hedgehog Sat AM, the Saturday morning cartoon from the early to mid-90s. Let's put that on demand. Do you think that's going to have a TVY7 rating? Maybe. But when they look at it even more closely, it might end up having a TV PG rating, if you think about it. That's right, because the first season's a little darker and a little bit more dramatic. Second season's a lot more darker, but less dramatic, but a little bit more comedic. Overall, it could have a PG rating to it. You don't know that. What I'm saying overall is it's no big fucking deal. Excuse my language, but it's no big fucking deal. But if you add the L to your rating for Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, it's no fucking big deal. At least they will know, hey, we're a little edgier, and hey, this is probably going to be more than just us saying damn in here. That's it. I mean, come on. Is it that so fucking hard to do? Is it that so fucking hard to do? I mean, like I said, you've had storylines. Randy Orton and Triple H's storyline. You've had, you know, I mean, heck, you had the Nexus storyline. You've had the Rey Mysterio storyline with CM Punk. I mean, come on. How could something like CM Punk, Rey Mysterio, how can something like Randy Orton, Triple H, and let's even go one further, how can something like, oh, I don't know, Cena Nexus be fucking PG? Those storylines, when you look at them, are almost PG-13, if not coming close to 14. I mean, come on, people, think about it. I mean, think about it. People that write for wrestling promotions, think about it. Don't you think it's stupid that they just don't add the L right next to the V under TV PG and just say, and by doing that indicate, hey, we're going to have more than just the word damn in here. Don't you think that's a little ironic? Ironic that they don't do that? And they wonder sometimes why people criticize them. I mean, look, I'm not saying WWE doesn't know what they're doing. I mean, I mentioned it earlier. They have writers in there that can take their product, take that company, and allow the superstars and divas to go to that next level. Okay? They have that ability. But what they don't fucking have is the cojones, if you want to look at it in a Spanish term, to do it. They don't have the cojones, they don't have the huevos, they don't have nothing to do it. But you know what? I have a feeling, like I said in my previous video, Rock woke them up and made them realize that maybe the word ass isn't that bad of a deal, and maybe we should try to probably add one more letter. That's what I think they should do. Quite honest. I'll be honest with you, I think that's what they need to do. That's all I'm going to say about it. Now, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about TNA. Now tonight, 2 impacts are going to be taking place. One that was taped last week is going to take place tonight on Spike TV. But the other is going to be taped tonight in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and be aired next week. Now, the reason this is a big deal is because apparently you got a major shocking surprise happening at the end of Impact tonight. As well as next week, as well as you got Ric Flair and AJ Styles, one-on-one. Then next week, then tonight also, you got next week's taping taking place in Fayetteville. It's supposed to be the big one. It's supposed to be a pay-per-view-like show. Why? Because the ruling with the Hogan and Dixie is supposed to come down. Second of all, we're supposed to have some matches taking place. And he said are going to be big and important. And third, it's the first Impact on the road since November 2007. And you know, I've been waiting for Impact to go back on the road to talk about this. The last time Impact was on the road in Las Vegas, it was historic. Yeah, it was the first one they had on the road. It was historic. But also, it's known it's known for 2 things: being the first Impact on the road, and being the first Impact, if you will, but also known as the birth of the Main Event Mafia. Now, it's also known as one of Christian's last appearances in TNA on Impact. That's right. Because basically when Christian arrived, because when they did this, this is the night that Christian challenged Booker T to a match for his Legends Championship, which was also introduced that night. Now, like I said, this was basically the end of Christian's TNA tenure. Because what happened, as we all know, Christian lost the match to Booker T, and according to stipulation was supposed to join the Main Event Mafia, but instead got beat down, and that was the last we saw of him, with TNA saying he was out indefinitely with injuries. Okay. First of all, if you know one of your top stars in a promotion is going to be leaving for your rival promotion, then don't put him in a match to where if he loses, he has to join the group that just formed, and then all of a sudden have him beat down. Don't fucking do that. If you're going to have him fucking go against this group or go against one of the champions in this group, what you do is you have him compete. You have him compete in a loser leaves town match. That's what you do. You have him compete in a loser leaves town match. That way, at least he'll go out with dignity. You don't fucking set him up in his final program with somebody to have him at the end beat down. And you don't fucking set it up on your first Impact on the road. Or your first show on the road for your flagship program. You don't do that. You set it up. I mean, if you have a base, a home base like they do with the Universal Studios, you set it up there. Then, if he loses what should have been a loser leaves town match, then you have him appear on Impact one last time, give a nod, give a thank you, and then leave. Let him leave with dignity. Don't have him get beat down on Impact weeks after he throws out the challenge on your first Impact. You don't start a program like that. And now, apparently, I don't know if it's happening tonight on the Impact airing on Spike. I don't know if it's happening tonight during the Impact taping in Fayetteville for next week. But now, they're doing something similar with Velvet Sky. So Rita is basically going to face Velvet Sky in a match to where Velvet loses, her career is over. Okay. First of all, this is too reminiscing of what happened with Christian. Okay? Because, like I said, Christian started his final program in TNA in Las Vegas, on the Impact in Las Vegas. Which basically, like I said, led to him being beat down a few weeks later. And that was the last we saw of him in TNA. This is what I'm worried about. They're not going to let Velvet Sky go out with dignity. I've got that feeling. If she loses. I'm not saying she will, but if she loses, they're not going to let her go out with dignity. So, this is what I'm worried about. I'm worried about TNA doing this again. I mean, every time, it seems to me every time they take the flagship program on the road, something happens to a superstar, that's either leaving for a promotion or needs to take time off to heal up from an injury or spend time with a family or something like that. It's basically their way of saying, hey, you want to leave? You want to leave us high and dry? Okay, here's what you get. A beat down. Or you get humiliation. And you know, TNA's not the only one that's done this. WCW's done it. I remember mostly they did it to The Big Show when he was known as the Giant. The last time we saw him in WCW was in January of '99. He loses the match to Kevin Nash, and then he gets beat down for his troubles. And that's the last time we see of him in WCW. Okay? That's the last we see of him. The only promotions I know of that do it almost 90% of the time. Actually, okay, let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. 80% of the time with decency is WWE/WWF and the original ECW. They're the only ones that have ever done it with dignity. They're the only ones that have allowed somebody to compete in a match, and if they lose, allow them to go out with dignity. There have been a few occasions where that's not happened, basically like 20% of those occasions, but 80% of the time it's been with decency. It's been with dignity. So, that's what I'm just afraid of, tonight. I'm just afraid we're going to get somewhat of a repeat of what happened to Christian a few weeks after he made the challenge in Las Vegas. I'm afraid we're going to get the same thing with Velvet tonight during the Impact tapings of Fayetteville. I could be wrong. Like I said, the match could take place tonight on Spike during last week's tapings, but we'll see what happens. So, those are just my thoughts on some of the things WWE and TNA related. Tell me what you guys think. I'll talk to y'all later. Hey everyone, what's up? Hopefully this does not go black. If it does, I apologize. But this is sort of a bonus, if you will, to what I said earlier. This is sort of a little addition to it. I just watched the second part of the special edition of the ADTV, the Adult Demographics This Week in Wrestling. Finally found out what this guy's name was. Carlos is his name. And two things they talked about. Two things they talked about was Sheamus and Lawler and Cole. Now, apparently a lot of people want to know, apparently he wants to know, this Carlos guy wants to know, who did Sheamus piss off to get depushed to the point that he loses to Mark Henry? No disrespect to Mark Henry, but who did he piss off? This may sound, well, I'll give you an answer. This may sound like a surprise to you. It may sound like a surprise to CJ, to K-Ross, to anybody watching. I mean, this is just ridiculous. He pissed off Kevin Dunn. Now, if you don't know who Kevin Dunn is, he's apparently one of the head guys in WWE. He's one of the head guys backstage, one of the head bookers, writers, whatever you want to call him. He's that person. And I guess he did something wrong in Kevin Dunn's eyes to the point that Kevin Dunn said, you know what? He's not supposed to do that. I'm going to depush him. That's what he did. So I guess the only way now Sheamus is even going to get to WrestleMania is to be involved in a feud with Daniel Bryan for the United States Championship. Not a bad thing, but still, that's what I believe caused him to be taken out of the whole situation with Triple H and be put into this situation with Daniel Bryan. And I guess that's what opened the door for Triple H Undertaker. Just my opinion. Now, another thing they talked about, and I tried to talk about this briefly in a video, but I'll talk about this here, is the Lawler-Cole segment on Monday Night Raw. The Lawler-Cole segment, in many people's eyes, obviously went a little overboard. I'm sorry if I'm bending down a lot. I'm coming up close because I'm trying to make sure this thing doesn't fade out. It does that for some reason. I don't know why. But what pissed these people, now a lot of people didn't like this segment, especially when Michael Cole commented on Jerry Lawler's recently passed mother. Again, thoughts and prayers go out to his family. But people didn't like this. They felt it was a little overboard. Well, here's the thing. A lot of people have said this. This Carlos guy has said it because he's old school, apparently. He comes from the old school. Who else said it? J-Dub, I believe, said it. And I think a few others said it. That Jerry Lawler, that Michael Cole wouldn't have brought up Jerry Lawler's mom if he wasn't cool with it. If he wasn't down with it. That's the whole thing. He wouldn't have brought it up if he wasn't cool with it. Okay? I'm pretty sure that Lawler probably went to his mom years before, maybe months before she passed, years or months before she passed, went to his family and said, look, there's going to come a time when I'm going to have to use my mom or use one of you guys in the family. Well, basically, he probably went to his mom years before, maybe months before, and said, Mom, there's probably going to be a time in WWE where I'm going to have to use you in an angle. Is that okay? And she probably said, go ahead. She probably gave him his blessing. And you know, it probably was the same with his family. They said, fam, I'll probably have to use one of you guys in an angle. Is that okay? Probably got the blessing of